مرحبا كيفكن? In order to sound like an Arab, there are two critical letters that you have to pronounce correctly, and they happen to be notoriously difficult letters to pronounce for Western people. In this video, we're going to talk about the second one because I have already made a video about the letter Ha. The Ha and the Ain are pharyngeal sounds. They're pronounced at the back of your throat, at the back of your tongue. And we're going to learn today how to pronounce the more difficult one of the two, which happens to be the Ain. This is how the Ain is written at the end of the word, and at the beginning of the word, and in the middle of the word. The Ain is transcribed as a 3 in transcription, and that's what you see in social media nowadays and in WhatsApp. There's no equivalent for this letter in the Latin alphabet. Okay, so how do we pronounce the Ain properly and sound like an Arab? Like, I want to say Arabi instead of Arabi. I want to say Ali instead of Ali. See how right away when I say Ali, I sound more Arabic than by saying Ali. Okay, so it all has to do with your epiglottis. The epiglottis is situated at the end of your tongue backwards and is pointing towards the wall of your mouth. When air goes into your mouth, it goes through the epiglottis to the windpipe. Okay, in order to produce the Ain, you want to block that air. Okay, because look, if you say long A and then you block the air by blocking your throat, you will produce the Ain. Try this with me. See? Okay, but we want to be able to produce it without blocking our throat. So we want actually the epiglottis to do the work for us and block the air. How do I do that? It's by pulling the back of my tongue backwards towards the wall of my mouth. Try it. See how my throat then moves when I do that. Okay, this is how I'm blocking the air and not allowing it to go through the windpipe. Okay? And then that's how I produce the Ain. The Ha is produced exactly the same, but for the Ha you don't need to push the epiglottis that much backwards. With the Ain you push it even more. That's why the Ain is a bit more difficult than the Ha. So in order to practice, we're going to practice words with Ain at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and at the end of the word. So yalla, let's do it. The Ain at the beginning of a word. These words happen to start with the Ain with a fatha. Say the Ha while pulling the back of your tongue backwards towards the wall of your mouth. Say Ah. Try it again. Ah. See, by saying and pulling your tongue backwards, you produce the Ain naturally. Ah. Now say Arabi. Try again. Arabi. First exaggerate, like say and you know, while doing that work with the back of your tongue. Arabi. Again. Arabi. Perfect. Let's say Ali. Open your throat, pull your tongue back, the back of your tongue backwards, and say Ali. Ali. Next one. 10. Ashra. Again. Ashra. Now let's practice the Ain at the beginning of the word, but with the Dhamma sound. So it's a bit more difficult. Okay, so because now we don't open our mouth to say we are keeping our mouth rounded and closed to say the to start with the while pulling the back of our tongue backwards. Oh, oh. Okay, so say oo while blocking the air to go into your throat by pushing the back of your tongue backwards. Oh. Again. Oh. I know, it sounds very funny and I look very funny while saying it, but just do it to practice. Oh, oh. Okay, now let's say oud. Oud is that Arabic guitar, music instrument, kind of sitar that's rounded from the back. Okay, oud. Repeat. Oud. And so not oud, but oud. See how it sounds Arabic. Oud. Now sparrow, and lately it has been used also for bird. عصفور. Now os, you have to do os. It's like o, you're saying o while blocking the air to go through your throat. Os, osfur. Feel the back of your tongue going backwards towards the wall of your mouth. Osfur. Osfur. Okay, racist. عنصري. عنصري. Keep repeating. عنصري. First say the first syllable, then the second syllable. عنصري. عنصري. Now say the word in one shot. And now words that start with the ayn but with the kasra sound, e sound. Ay. Okay? So, Eid, you know, like Eid al-Fitr at the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Adha, it could be also Eid, could be a Christian Eid feast, festivity, okay, or religious holiday. So, not Eid, but Eid. So first try the ayn with the kasra sound. You say E while pulling the back of your tongue backwards towards the wall of your mouth. Ay, 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 ay. So I don't say ay, no, ay, ay. This one is even more challenging, but you can do it. Okay, I have so many students, Dutch, British, French, who pronounce it perfectly. So you can do it. Eid. Eid. Okay. Now Iraq بالعربي is العراق. العراق. Try it. العراق. عراق. العراق. Perfect. And now the number 20. 20. 20. One more time. 20. Let's move on to the ayn in the middle of the word. The word بعد. Okay, so now you have to produce the ayn in the middle of the word. Okay, again, think about pulling the back of your tongue backwards. So you say the ba, and then right away, actually, when you start saying this fatha, you start pulling the back of your tongue backwards. Bad. bad. Block the air. If you really can't do it, just say ah and block your throat here. Bad. Bad. Okay, now without blocking your throat. Bad. Bad. Bad means after. Okay? بعدين, that's a colloquial word, which means afterwards. Okay? I'll do this afterwards. Okay? بعمل هذا الشيء بعدين. So, بعدين. It's exactly like bad, but you're adding in at the end. بعدين. Again. بعدين. Next one, far. بعيد. بعيد. So if you didn't have a ayn here, look how you would pronounce it. بعيد. Okay, if there was actually a hamza, if there was a stop, بعيد. But we want بعيد. Far. Next one is hair. Oh, actually, it could be hair or it could be poetry. Okay, so poetry is شعر. شعر. And hair is شعر. 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 Next one is people. شعب. 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 Next one is the word for verb. فعل. فعل. We're gonna do the ayn at the end of the word. Mosque. جامع. This one is a bit less obvious at the end of the word than at the beginning and in the middle. However, you do say it. You really have to try to block that air. Okay, at the end now. جامع. Ah, see? جامع. Okay. Mosque. Next one is to swallow. بلع. بلع. As opposed to بلا. بلا means without, but this is بلع. Do you hear the difference? بلع. بلا. Next one, to come back. رجع. رجع. Or in colloquial Arabic. رجع. رجع. Next one is spring, and which is also a boy's name. ربيع. So that one. ربيع. So I'm not saying ربيع. I'm not saying a at the end. I'm saying the ayn, which is a consonant. ربيع. See, my mouth is not open for ربيع. No. ربيع. You also notice when you say the ayn, you kind of have to pull your stomach in as well. Say it again. ربيع. Next one. Arm. ذراع ذراع. You hear how there's an alif, you hear an alif and then a ayn. ذراع. Next one. وديع. وديع is a man's name. وديع. And the last one is ربع, which means a quarter. ربع ساعة is a quarter of an hour. ربع. Again. ربع. Next, we're gonna do the ultimate ayn words, which have two ayns in the middle and at the end. These are the most challenging two. If you can say these right, then you have mastered the ayn with iMasterArabic. So the word for mint leaves, you know, or shai بالنعناع. Okay, it has a ayn in the middle here and a ayn at the end. So let's break it into syllables. The first syllable is na, na, na. It's very difficult. Na, na. Try it again. Na, na. In colloquial, we don't say this alif, we say na. But in Fusha, is it na? Repeat. Na. And the last one is sunbeam. Listen. Shu'a. You can do it, I'm sure. Shu'a. So you have ayn, alif, ayn. Shu'a. One last time for me. Shu'a. Keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. If you like this video, put a like, subscribe to my channel, check out my website for information on my books and courses. Okay, and keep practicing. يلا بشوفكن.